Hello Dairy Today viewers, from the advisory team at Stewart Peterson, here's your dairy market week in review. Let's start by taking a look at some of our product prices this week. The cheese market continues to show considerable strength, both blocks and barrels seeing sizable gains again this week, now within earshot of that $2 mark in those markets. The butter market, on the other hand, continues to show a little bit of weakness, off 9.25 cents this week, looking to find some better support at these lower levels at about 174. Powder prices, on the other hand, continue to be sideways to higher, and we'll look at some of our international powder prices in just a second. As we look at our Class 3 prices as a result this week, our nearby months continue to see strength, especially in December and January. Deferred months a little bit steady to slightly lower this week with some influence from the grain market. Our Class 4 values a little bit mixed with that lower butter market, yet steady to higher powders, anywhere from down 30 to up 25 as you look at our Class 4 values heading into 2012. Diving into some of the price action this week, let's start with that cheese market where we've seen all this strength. We'll profile our block market here, and after being stuck in this sideways range for about 2.5 months, we finally broke over that 177 level and put together two sharply higher weeks. Now we're going to close this week at 195. As we look ahead, we may start to see a bit of a zone of resistance between this 197 and $2 level based on some common retracement levels based on this initial move lower off the highs from earlier this summer, as well as based on some of these previous lows and the way international prices have been tending for cheese in a lower direction. So we'll see if cheese can continue to show strength. However, it may get a little bit more challenging as we move into the second half of November. As mentioned, these gains in the cheese markets have been very good things for our Class 3 milk prices. Our January contract, for example, has moved sharply higher over the last couple of weeks and now approaching the previous contract high of $17.56. With that $17.56 price being a reversal here, a break into new contract highs would be an extremely positive development for our January price as well as 2012 prices, and we'll see if we can challenge that with higher prices next week. For the rest of 2012, it turned into a rather ho-hum week, despite the opportunity to see some support from the grain markets. On Wednesday, we did have our latest crop reports out. However, that news was very much overshadowed by some of the news out of the Eurozone, as now Italy has become as much of an issue as Greece in regards to their overall debt burdens. But as we bring it back to our milk market, we still see this general uptrend intact for our 2012 prices, but again, basically steady from a week ago with the calendar average at $16.79. Let's briefly jump out to the international scene this week as we track some developments in our whole milk powder market. As you look at the price action year to date, we started out the year on a very strong note, and as you'll see behind me, have really struggled in a lower pattern since about mid-March. Have gotten some good developments in the past several weeks though, as the USDA reports that our prices out of Oceania as well as Europe are starting to show a little bit of strength as we work into the fourth quarter months. This is a really great development for our U.S. prices, which have really been a step ahead of our international scene. Typically, we see just the opposite with our Oceania or European prices leading the way and our prices here in the U.S. following suit. So to see these prices show some appreciation and strength is a very positive sign for our U.S. prices and can even verify some of the strength that we've seen over the past couple of weeks. As we look ahead to next week's trade, we'll first be watching our cash markets and cheese market to see if we can challenge that $2 level or if we do start to run into a little bit more selling interest as we reach that threshold. We'll also be watching our butter market to see after this week's setback if we can entice some buyers to come in and support that market as well. Another note, we'll have our next global trading event next Tuesday, the 15th. And finally, next Friday, we'll have our monthly production report out with our preliminary estimates for the October production figures. From the Stewart Peterson Advisory Team, I am Stephen Shalla for Dairy Today and AgWeb.com.